where you've had a chance, your body has a chance to recover from the hard training, that 200 kilometers a week he's been running, and has had a chance to rest up. And sometimes you can still have that residual fitness even if you miss a couple of weeks training. So can Julian Wanders produce something special? He has gone out like a bat out of hell. So his two pacemakers in front of him, he's been chasing them down. They're his training partners, Matthew Kibet-Kibaros and Boniface Kibiwat. And Julian did flag up with me beforehand that, you know, they are pacing him, but they're also probably going to finish. And as we saw in the last race with Hilary Kepkoish, he didn't just finish, he crushed his rivals. So can one of Julian Wanders' training partners, Matthew Kibet-Kibaros or Boniface Kibiwat, possibly do the same to him? Maybe no love lost on the journey home if so. But back in the women's field, we see Sarah Lati there. Also in the women's field is Leila Hadji of France, Christina Hendel of Germany, Ludovico Cavalli of Italy, and Aude Korachensky of France. Hadji is a 16:03 athlete at her best on the track, but she has no 10 kilometer time listed on the roads, so we'll have to see if she's able to. She will get a personal best regardless once she makes it to the finish line, but can she perhaps challenge that track PB of 16:03 which she ran in 2019? That's Christina Hendel there of Germany as well, 16:27 athlete at her best, gone out there. Looks to be running strong at the moment. She's a dual nationality with Croatia, and she was many Croatian titles in the distance events and the steeplechase. She's on the track, she's 10,000 meter PBs of 33:33, 16:06 on the track for 5,000 meters, and 16:27 is her best on the road, so looks to be well capable of lowering that today. But back to the main man in this field, Julian Wanders, the Swiss athlete. He's one of the great stories as well, like Sondra Moon in distance running. Grew up in Geneva in Switzerland, and when he was in high school, in his last year of high school, he's about 16 years old, he said, he had to do an essay and he could pick any subject he wanted, so he did. I'm going to answer the question in my essay, why do Kenyans dominate at distance running? And he wrote that essay, and then he was as good as his word. He basically, after college, he decided to go out to Kenya and find out for real. And he had a few heated discussions, I would say, with his parents about whether or not to go to university. And he said, no, I feel like I need to chase the full-time running dream. Spent a month in Kenya crashing with a friend of his out there. And then he said, this is my lifestyle. This is what I'm going to do with my life. I'm going to move to Kenya full-time. I'm going to try hard. He was living on a shoestring budget, Julian Wanders, but he trained like the Kenyans. He said they're the best athletes in the world. I want to go and find out what makes them so good. And basically train like them, think like them. Both his parents are professional musicians. And he said that probably helped. It's not so much a job as a vocation and something you do really for passion. And that's always the approach he's taken to his sport. And he says over the years he's really learned to live like a Kenyan and think like a Kenyan. He says, you know, when I'm in Geneva, I'm stressed and I have a lot of things going on. He's like, when I'm out in Kenya, I finish training, I relax, I eat, I sleep. I do nothing else. And it truly is committing himself full time to the running dream. And it's paid big dividends over the years. He is truly an outstanding athlete for European distance running and a truly world-class operator. Like we said, European record at 10 kilometers on the road. 27:13 in Valencia last year. En route, he set en route to his half marathon European record at the RAK race. He set a 15 kilometer European record as well, and his European half marathon record, Wanders, is 59:13. But it's funny, I was just watching a video a few weeks back of that race, and Wanders said he ate something bad two nights before the race and he was vomiting and felt awful. So, you know, he produced a European record after that. Can he produce a European record after a bout of pneumonia 2 weeks ago? It would be an outstanding performance if he can, and he's certainly going for it here, Wanders. And we'll keep an eye on the clock, and we'll keep an eye on those flags at the side for the 2 kilometer splitter, the big white banners, because 5:20 is the split he will be looking at. As we see the women's time there, 3 minutes. Well, it says 3:0. I'm not sure if that's correct, because Sarah Lati, I wouldn't say went out with 3 minutes per kilometer. I think she was planning to go for around the 15:40 mark, which is 3:08 per kilometer. And we'll see if she's able to maintain. It's great to see Sarah Lati as well back to her best and really in flying form. She set the Swedish 1 hour record last year in Brussels. As we see Wanders there, and I think beside him that is Ivan Fernandez. And it's still grouped together. I'm not quite sure, and the fact it's grouped so tightly makes me think that he's not quite going at the pace that in terms of European record pace, maybe just decided, given the situation, to back off and be a little bit more reserved and sensible, I suppose, given the situation. You know, it's big things coming up later this year. He obviously feels back to health, but having lost perhaps a little bit of fitness, a little bit of his strength, a little bit of his prowess, maybe he said not today for the European record, and started thinking of that personal best, which is 13:29 for Julian Wanders. And beside him, that is Pietro Riva of Italy, just also pushing the pace at the front. His personal best is 14:04, the 20-year-old. He was the European under-20 champion at 10,000 meters before, and he's a half marathon PB of 62 minutes, does Riva. So he should be well able, the 23-year-old, of breaking 14 minutes with times like that. And we'd expect him to go well under it. He is certainly running right upsides Julian Wanders at the moment, but how quick can Wanders go? We shall see. But it's funny, he said as well, talking about how he kind of mentality has shifted since he moved to Kenya. He said the difference is really these days I don't think in limits. He says when you come to an event like this, as we see 5:18 there is the split at 2k. So it has gone very fast. If that is correct, this has gone out very, very fast. And I struggle to believe that is correct, given there's so many athletes running at that pace, because 5:18 at 2 kilometers is sub 13:20 pace, which would mean that all of these men are running under the European record pace. It's possible, but I would reserve judgment for the moment. As you see Wanders there, he's just drifted a little bit back through the pace, or through the pack at the moment. And it looks like Pietro Riva, who is really to the fore at the moment, along with our pacemakers. And we'll look back to the women's race at the moment, and Sarah Lati, who is sitting in the pack there with the pacemakers. Again, 15:38, her personal best. We'll have a big eye on that here today. The Swedish record is 15:31, which is held by Meraf Bata. That was set in December last year, and she will have one eye on that, I think. You see they're getting great shelter, and this surface here is as good as it gets, really, in terms of running speed. I just went for a little cycle and a little jog on it yesterday, and it feels like a track almost. It grips so well, and it's entirely flat. And obviously, besides those U-turns that sort of trip around the roundabout, very little in terms of things to break up your rhythm. So we see here in the men's race, and it looks like Wanders has become highly detached there. Yeah, he's well off the back. He's a good 50-60 meters off the back. So we said there could be some shocks here, and we're seeing them here. And perhaps it's no surprise given what he went through a couple of weeks ago. He said he was in great shape, but when the pneumonia hit him, he felt like he probably wouldn't be able to get here at all. But obviously when he got his health back, he decided to come in the end, and it's not going to be a good day at the office for Julian Wanders, but he is not a quitter. It's not in his makeup, and he is going to make it to the finish no matter what. Will Julian Wanders. Sarah Lati, how quick can she go though? It's great to see her back. She really, after breaking out really at the Rio Olympics with that Swedish record over 10,000 meters, she really underwent a torrid time in 2017 and 2018. She ran 31:28, that Swedish 10,000 meter record, back in 2016. And 2018, yeah, she just pushed herself a bit too hard on a training camp, she said, in Flagstaff, and picked up a stress fracture in her hip, kept her out for about 3 months, and then even the following year she had to undergo surgery on her Achilles in 2019. So she spent a lot of time out of the sport, a lot of time on the bike, and a lot of time struggling, and it really is wonderful. She got back last year and put in a full season, and it was brilliant to see her back to her very best. Sarah Lati of Sweden, and she will be tackling that personal best of 15:38. As we see, it's Boniface Kibiwat in the men's race, who is out front at the moment, and he's run some races much like Sarah Lati, who raced a good bit in Sweden towards the end of 2019. But aside from that, we have very few results on Boniface Kibiwat. Like we said, he's in as a pacemaker, but as we saw happen in the men's race, it looks like Kibiwat is going to be the king here in the 5k race. But Sarah Lati, we see the other leading men trying to chase down, and that is Pietro Riva at the moment on the left of your shot, and it's Etienne Daguinot on the right, the Frenchman, the 21-year-old only. He is running a great race at the moment, as we see Riva dropping back a little. And Felix Boer is just behind him there, sitting in that slipstream, trying to draft as well as he can. Daguino doesn't have a personal best listed for 10 kilometers on the road, but he is a fine athlete who has run 14:01 on the track. As we go back to Sarah Lati, drafting in behind her two pacemakers. Mohamed Amin Kadad is one of those pacemakers. And she looks to be running well at the moment as she's entering now the final kilometers here at the ASICS Be At Your Personal Best event in Domaine Les Bois Adam, near the town or the village of Morton here in the French countryside. It's really an idyllic setting. It doesn't get much better than this in terms of serene environments. And the whole ASICS motto is, of course, in the top left of your screen: sound mind, sound body. And the athletes who've been here for the last couple of days have been relaxing well, just enjoying the scenery, enjoying the peace and quiet and the birds tweeting, the deer roaming around the environment here. Like we said, normally this is a holiday theme park, so it's all about relaxation, but there's nothing relaxed about what the athletes are doing here. Sarah Lati, as she comes now, she's going to be coming up to 4K split pretty soon, I'd say. She'd be hoping to get there in around 12:30 or so. We see the men's split 10:40 at 4K. So just 1K left for the men. It looks like they are on for some huge personal bests here, if they can bring it home strong. Men are churning now. They're on the road back to home, and they'll be getting a bit of a wind in their faces at the moment, and that might just disrupt them a bit. And Felix Boer is really churning that pace at the front. You can see that slight forward lean. And you can hear in the silence, the lack of crowds really does expose what these athletes go through, just what it's like. You can almost feel like you're running among them there as Felix Boer runs ahead of Etienne Daguino. They're running alone there. They're just breaking clear at the moment. That's Napoleon Solomon. Oh, sorry, that's not Napoleon Solomon. That is, I think, Ilyas Yonis Osman. He's trying to keep pace there, but they're just going to swing around. It's a very gentle turn here. Obviously, as a distance runner, you want to avoid any sharp turns, if at all. And Felix Boer is cranking the pressure up at the front. And I think looking down the road, Boniface Kibiwat, though, has set sail. Our original pacemaker trains with Julian Wanders' group. Wanders, of course, not having his best day here today. We're back to the women's race, and Sarah Lati is, as we expected her to be, all on her own. We'll try and check in on how Christina Hendel and Leila Haji are also doing, but 12:18 for the women at 4K. So Sarah Lati is running very well here. This is going to be huge from Sarah Lati if that split is correct. Like I said, we've sometimes seen it been a bit confusing, but Kibiwat is on his way to the finish, but Sarah Lati looks like she's on for something huge if she can keep that pace going for the final kilometers. But we'll focus on the men's race for now, because Boniface Kibiwat in as a pacemaker, in to help Julian Wanders achieve his dream. But the Kenyan 27-year-old is achieving a dream of his own. He doesn't have a road personal best for 10 kilometers, so this is going to be one no matter how slow he finishes. But this is very fast, 13:22, 13:23 or so as he comes across the line. A massive, huge personal best for Boniface Kibiwat, and up to the line with 13:32 on the clock. Felix Boer comes across, huge personal best for him, and indeed Etienne Daguino, who's absolutely delighted with that. Ilyas Yonis Osman comes across the line. His personal best is 14:10. He smashes that. Our other pacemaker, Matthew Kibet Kibirus, and then that is Pietro Riva. 14:04 was his personal best. He smashes his personal best. Also, really some outstanding running here today. Ivan Fernandez, I think, came across there as well. As we see, Julian Wanders, is a bad day at the office for Julian Wanders, but when you've had a bout of pneumonia, the body is always going to take some time to bounce back. And indeed, it will take some time. That is Ivan Fernandez there coming across the line also with him. But Julian Wanders, yeah, the body clearly not right for Wanders. So this will be a day to forget for him, but I'm sure it will have been nice to basically confirm to his body, I suppose, that he's back to at least health, if not to full fitness but like we said, there's 14 weeks until the athletics begins at the Rio Olympics, and he'll be targeting the 10,000 meters there and possibly also the 5,000 meters. So it's good to see him back to health. And now it's all about Sarah Lati, because how fast can she go here today? Swedish 5K record is 15:31 by Meraf Bata Lati's personal best coming in was 15:38, and it looks like she's on for something big. You see the grimace on her face. You'd be shocked to see anything different at this point in the race. But she is powering to the line here in the ASICS Metaspeed Sky. You can see the knee taped up. She's had her injury problems over the years, Sarah Lati, but she looks to have conquered them and put them firmly behind her, because she is powering up to the finish here. She's based in the Netherlands, and the Dutch courage is fully on show here, because Sarah Lati powers to the line. It's a huge personal best, and it's a Swedish record. 15:21, 15:22 or so, and her two pacemakers come across and give her an applause. Sarah Lati has obliterated. She's taken 16 seconds or so off her personal best. She's taken about 10 seconds off the Swedish record. 15:21 for Sarah Lati. What a performance by the Swedish 26-year-old. And when that pain subsides, she will be very, very happy with when she gets that official confirmation on the time. As we see the other athletes coming through there, that's Leila Hadji on the left, put the arms aloft. Her personal best was not listed for on the road, so she's obviously got a big personal best there. Fast time well below 16 minutes. Well done to her, and I think it was Christina Hendel as well, who was 16:27, was her previous quickest time, so she has absolutely obliterated that as well. But Sarah Lati, really the star of the show here today, along with Matthew Kipkoish, of course, who's won that world-leading time in the men's 10K. This is Ludovico Cavalli of Italy. Her personal best was 17:18. So obviously we didn't expect her to feature up the front with Sarah Lati, but this is not about racing each other so much as it is about racing yourself, your previous self. And Ludovico Cavalli of Italy, well, she, like Sarah Lati, is going to absolutely smash her personal best. 17:18 before today. She's going to be well inside, I think, 17 minutes, or maybe just inside this. It's a bit of a foreshortening effect there, but 16:55 or so for Ludovico Cavalli as she comes across the line, the 20-year-old Italian. Brilliant running from her. Been running